Welcome back. All right, 8 games tonight in the National Hockey League. So let's go ahead and get the review done. Starting with Chicago and Buffalo. So Mrazek versus Luukkonen in this one. The shots are 2-0 Buffalo at 4 minutes. Samuelsson fires one wide on a rush. The Sabres press at 6.5 minutes. The first whistle of this game wasn't until the 8-minute mark. There were no shots for the Hawks at 9 minutes, and then at 9:51, Benson scores from Dahlin and Byram. The Sabres then press for another, and they find it at 12:23. It's Tuck from Thompson and Dahlin. Vlasic very nearly prevented that from going over the line, but it did go over the line. And then at 12:38, Quinn buries a one-timer from Cousins and Peterka to make it 3-0 for Buffalo. That's 3 goals in less than 3 minutes of game time. Benson's then denied on a 3-on-2 rush. And late in the period at 19:18, also on a rush, Cousins puts one past a screen. Quinn with the assist. It's 4-0 Buffalo at the end of the first period. Second period, Soderblom is in net to start. I'm not surprised Mrazek was done at that point. There's an early press by Buffalo. Sabres draw a power play. That's killed off. The shots are 5-1 Buffalo at 6.5 minutes. Sabres press at 9 minutes. Halfway through this game, Chicago had 4 shots. That's it. So rough time on the road for Chicago again. Foligno, he throws a hit on Kulich that draws a crowd. We end up with 4-on-4 out of that. The Hawks press with 4.5 minutes left, and at 16:39, Bertuzzi gets Chicago on the board from Hall and Bedard. Teams then trade turnovers late in the period. It's 4-1 for Buffalo after 2. Third period, Sabres press at 2 minutes. Dahlin has a screenshot that's saved, and then at 3:04 on a rush, Seth Jones buries a cross-ice pass. Maroon with the assist there. It's 4-2. And so since Buffalo has this really rough record overall, you start to get kind of nervous if you're Buffalo. We then get a power play for Chicago. Bertuzzi to Bedard. There's a near miss there. Power play's killed off. And then at 5:48, Tuck puts one through Soderblom on a rush. McLeod with the assist. Shots are 8-5 for the Sabres with 6.5 minutes left. And at 15:05, Tuck gets the hat trick goal to make it 6-2. Then there's crossbar and out for Quinn, so they kept going for it. In fact, the Sabres pressed in the final minute. There was no mercy in this game, but it was not a 5-goal differential, so there is no mercy. There is no mercy magnet on the board. There we go. Buffalo goes to 13-19-4 with the win. They've now caught Detroit in points. Chicago 12-22-2 with the loss. Shots on net 11-2 Buffalo in the first, 11-8 Buffalo in the second. 13-7 Buffalo in the third. Final shots 35-17 for the Sabres. Both teams go 0-for-1 on the power play. The hits 35-24 Chicago. Mrazek saves 7 out of 11. Soderblom saves 22 out of 24. Luukkonen saves 15 out of 17. And so for Buffalo, I mean it's Chicago, I understand that, but hey, they've got back-to-back wins. And they've scored a ton of goals in these back-to-back wins. All right, next up, Toronto and Detroit. So it's Wall versus Talbot. Kampf has a rush chance that's held. And then on a face-off win, Kampf does score at 2:29 from Lafferty after a face-off win by Toronto. Shots are 4-2 for Detroit at 5.5 minutes. The Wings press at 7 minutes. But at 8:16, Marner buries a one-timer to make it 2-0 for Toronto. Tavares with the great pass to set that up. Philippe Myers with the other assist. It's 2-0 Toronto. Wings press for a response. They end up drawing a power play. That's killed off. 3 shots on net. The Leafs then get a turn on the power play. That's killed off as well. 1 shot on net there. Then with 3:19 left, the Leafs with a 4-minute power play. They score during the second 2 minutes. At 19:28, it's Marner. It's another cross-ice pass and in. Nylander and Tavares with the assist. So Tavares with a couple of helpers in the first. Marner with a couple of goals. It is 3-0 Toronto after 1. Second period, shots are 2-1 for the Wings at 5.5 minutes. The early games, there were large stretches. There really wasn't much for me to put on the board about them. McCabe has a rush chance. That's held. The Wings really weren't getting anything going at this point. The Leafs aren't giving them a path to the net. Myers to Domi. There's a near miss there. The Leafs press with 5 minutes left. And then at 16:23, Marner tips in a point shot for the hat trick. The assist to Ekman Larson and Pacioretty. The Leafs look for another, and very late in the period at 19:58, Robertson gets it. Good forechecking sets this up. It's another cross-ice pass. Domi and McMahon with the assists. It's 5-0 in favor of the Toronto Maple Leafs after 2. So Lyon takes over in the third. He was not busy in the third. Larkin has a rush chance that's blocked out. Power play for Detroit, that's killed off. Nylander fires one wide on a rush. The shots are 2-0 Detroit, 5.5 minutes in. Wings go back to the power play. Raymond nearly scores, and then he does. At 8:17, Sider and Larkin with the assist on Raymond's goal. Domi has a wrister that's held as the Leafs press to respond, but at 12:08, Edvinsson puts a point shot past a screen to make it 5-2. Tarasenko and Comfer with the assists. The Wings press with 5 minutes left, but that's as close as they can get. Your final score in this one's 5-2. Toronto goes to 22-12-2 with the win. Detroit drops to 13-18-4. And like I said, they're now tied in points with Buffalo. Shots on net, 13-11 Detroit in the first, 10-4 Toronto in the second, 8-2 Detroit in the third. They do outshoot Toronto, 25-23. Power plays, both teams go 1 for 3. The hits, 37-34 for Toronto. Woll saves 23 out of 25. Talbot, 16 saves on 21 shots. And then Alex Lyon only faced 2 shots. He did save both of them, though. All right, next up, Carolina and New Jersey. So New Jersey's less than 20 shots allowed streak ends tonight because it's Carolina. They shoot from everywhere. So it's Kochetkov versus Markstrom. The shots are 2 apiece at 4.5 minutes. Kokiniemi's denied. Markstrom holds on to that one. The Canes are controlling the face-off circle, which seemed to benefit them early in the game. Cotter has a rush chance that's saved. And then at 10:02, Robinson, the puck just trickles through Markstrom and into the net. Blake and Burns with the assists there. Carrier's then denied as the Canes are in control of the game. In fact, the shots are 10-3 for Carolina with 4 minutes left. But at 16:12, Palat deflects one in. It was a screenshot as well by Kovacevic. Siegenthaler with the other assist. It's a 1-1 tie. And then at 16:54 on a 2-on-1 rush, he sure wires one for his 18th of the season. Nason and Luke Hughes with the assists. New Jersey has a lead. And then the Devils press for another, but with 1:44 left, the Canes get a power play, so that rolls to the end of the first period with the score 2-1 for New Jersey. To start the second, the Devils finish the kill, but seconds after the kill finishes, at 22 seconds, Burns puts one past a screen from the slot. Roslovic with the assist. It's now a 2-2 tie. Svechnikov has a rush chance that's saved as Carolina's looking for more, but at 4:15, Luke Hughes puts a rebound into the net. Pesce and Bratt with the assists. New Jersey has their lead back. Stahl nearly answers on the very next shift. Markstrom with a big save there. And then at 8:47, Dawson Mercer gets one. Jack Hughes and Brendan Dillon with the assists on that. So that makes it 4-2 for New Jersey. Shots are 7-6 for the Devils with 8.5 minutes left. Walker's denied on a fast break. They reviewed a puck to see whether or not it went into the net. Did the Devils score? And in the end, they go, nope, no goal. So there you go. Burns breaks up a 2-on-1 with 1:47 left. The Canes get a power play. So they finish the second period like they finished the first on a power play, which does not succeed. And of course, there's only 13 seconds left to start the third period. That rolls off the clock. And Carolina, they did not score on their power plays tonight. So third period, the teams trade rushes. Palat has a rush chance that's blocked. Shots are 2-0 Carolina. 5 minutes in. Howlett and Mercer gets blocked. The Devils press. They're kept to the outside. They get more pressure with 8 minutes left. And then the Canes with some pressure of their own with 5 minutes left. Eventually, they pull the goalie with 2:37 left. Brent Burns hits a post. The rebound's cleared. And New Jersey wins this game 4-2. They go to 24-11-3 with the win. With the loss, Carolina 21-13-1. Shots on net favored Carolina the whole way through. 10-7 in the first, 14-10 in the second, 7-6 in the third. They outshoot New Jersey 31-23. Power plays, Carolina 0-2. New Jersey did not have one. The hits 24-20 for Carolina. Kochetkov saves 19 out of 23. Markstrom saves 29 out of 31. So pretty good night for Markstrom and for the Devils, and they keep winning. All right, next up, Boston and Columbus. Korpisalo versus Merzlikins. The shots are 2-0 Columbus, 5.5 minutes in. A lot of scrambly play by both teams. Really sloppy, to be honest, that first half of that first period. Pasternak has a wrister this block. Shots are 3-1 Columbus at 9 minutes. Very quiet game, and then it gets noisy. Columbus gets a power play in 11:29. Monahan scores on a rebound. Werenski and Marchenko with the assists. Boston then ties it at 15-13. Zacha roofs one on a pass from behind the net that came off Pasternak's stick, so that makes it 1-1. Putia is denied in the final minute. It's 1-1 after the first. Second period, early press by Columbus and some good forechecking by Columbus as well. Peak has a one-timer that's saved, and then the puck's cleared out. The teams trade turnovers. Kent Johnson's denied on a breakaway. We get a power play for Boston. That's killed off. And then after the power play comes to an end and Boston's power play guys are trying to get off the ice, well, Columbus takes advantage And during that bad line change, Fantilli gives them a 2-1 lead. Voronkov and Provorov with the assists at 7 minutes. And then at 8:13, it's another cross-ice pass and in. This time it is Monahan from Werenski and Fabro. So Monahan with his second goal of the game. Columbus then draws a power play. They score on this one as well. It is Voronkov from Kent Johnson and Werenski at 9:47. He roofs a backhand there, so not much chance for Korpisalo. That makes it 4-1 in favor of Columbus. Columbus presses with 4 minutes left. With 1:34 left, Columbus goes back to the power play. They score on this one too. It's Voronkov again from Marchenko and Werenski at 19:14. It's 5-1 after 2. Third period, 3:04 in. Marchenko makes it 6-1. Putia and Jack Johnson with the assists, and then Columbus looks for another, but Boston would answer. At 4:08, it's Coyle from Lindholm and Marchand, so that makes it 6-2. Shots are 4-3 Columbus at 8 minutes. We get a power play for Boston. That's killed off. The Bruins press after it comes to an end. They're not able to solve Elvis again. Your final score in this one, 6-2 for Columbus. They go to 15, 15, and 6. I'm going to say this now. I think what Laine said before the game against Montreal there the other night, I think that's fired up Columbus just a little bit. Boston drops to 19, 14, and 4 with the loss. Shots on net, 12-5 Columbus in the first, 14-10 Columbus in the second, 11-7 Boston in the third. Final shots, 33-26 for Columbus. Power plays, Boston 0-2. Columbus scored on all 3 of their power plays. The hits, 18-15 Boston. Korpisalo, 27 saves on 33 shots. Merzlikins saved 24 out of 26. That being said, I need to change boards. All right, so the 180s game we had tonight, we had a couple that were close, but in the end, we just have the one that actually reached 10 goals, and this is the one. It's Saros versus Hofer, and the scoring starts early. At 1 minute and 20 seconds, Thomas wires one on zone entry. He goes glove side. Then at 2:47, St. Louis gets a 2-0 lead. It's Bolduc from Sundqvist and Falk. Nashville then draws a power play. That's killed off. And then at 5:42, Jankowski makes it 2-1. Sissons and Blankenberg with the assists. The shots are 6-3 Nashville at 8 minutes. And at 9:57, St. Louis makes it a 3-1 lead. Kyrou turns and wires one from the slot. Fowler and Holloway with the assists. Fowler is really starting to get into the zone now with St. Louis. He's looking pretty good. We get a power play for the Blues. That becomes 56 seconds of 4-on-4, meaning it's a Nashville power play on the other side of this. And Nashville scores. It's Stamkos wiring one from the right circle. Marchessault and O'Reilly with the assists at 13-17. It is 3-2 for St. Louis, and we're only a little over 13 minutes in. I had a feeling this one was going to reach 10 goals altogether. The Blues press with 4.5 minutes left with 3:55 left. The Blues get a power play, and just as it comes to an end at 18:06, Fowler puts one past a screen, Holloway with the assist, and so it's 4-2 for St. Louis after the first period. Second period, the only shot on net 3 minutes in is from Nashville. Nashville gets some pressure, and then at 5:31, Blankenberg scores on a net drive. So that makes it a 4-3 game. Then we get some scrambly play after that, some turnovers and sloppy plays. Nashville then presses at 8.5 minutes. The Blues, they get pinned down for a bit, but they're blocking the net pretty well. Barron then has a wrister that's held, and then at 15:29, UC Saros shouldn't pass the puck to Broberg. That's a bad idea. Broberg gets the goal. That makes it 5-3, and that ends the night for Saros. Annanen's in the net. Shots are 6-5 Nashville with 3.5 minutes left. There's a near miss for Buchnevich on a tic-tac-toe play. Blues press with 2.5 minutes left with 21.9 seconds left. The Blues get a power play, so that rolls over into the third period. Nashville finishes the kill. St. Louis had 2 total shots on the power play. Nashville presses at 2.5 minutes. Shots are 4-3 St. Louis at 4 minutes. We get a press by Nashville at 7.5 minutes. We end up with a power play for Nashville, and they score on it. Marchessault wires one from the right circle. Stamkos and Forsberg with the assists at 11 minutes. So that tightens up the score just a little bit. Fans call one, the referee does not. We then get 2 minutes of 4-on-4, which is followed by a 4-on-3 power play for the Blues. They score during the 4-on-3. Thomas roofs one from the left circle. Kyrou and Fowler with the assists at 15-10. The goalie pull happens with 3:20 left, and then with 1:24 left, it becomes a 6-on-4. So when Parayko hits the empty net, it's also a shorthanded goal at 18:45. That makes your final score 7-4 for St. Louis. They go to 17, 16, and 4 with a much-needed win. With the loss, Nashville 11, 18, and 7. Shots on net, 11-10 St. Louis in the first, 9-8 St. Louis in the second, 12-9 for Nashville in the third. Nashville does outshoot St. Louis 30-29. Power plays, Nashville 2 for 4, St. Louis 1 for 4. The hits, 27-26 Nashville. Saros saves 10 out of 15. Annunen saves 12 out of 13 in relief. And Hofer saves 26 out of 30. All right, moving along. Minnesota and Dallas. This was an interesting one. So Gustafsson versus Ottinger. The Stars press at 3.5 minutes. There's only one shot each, though, 5 minutes in. And then at 9:52, Dodonov scores from Johnston and Benn, so it's 1-0 Dallas. Stars then look for another. The shots are 6-2 for Dallas with 8 minutes left. The Wild press with 4.5 minutes left. Marchment nearly buries a rebound when Dallas has a look at the other net. 2:58 left. The Stars get a power play. There's a post for Jason Robertson. That power play is killed off. And then the Wild press to close it out. So it was a rough first period for Minnesota, but they're only down 1-0 after one. Second period, the Wild press at 2 minutes. The Stars press during their next shift. We get a power play for the Wild. That's killed off. And despite power plays and pressures and all that, the shots are only one apiece 9 minutes into the period. Hintz fires one wide on a rush. Johnston has a slot shot that deflects out. Stars draw a power play. That's killed off. And then at 15:08, Johnston scores to make it 2-0. Dodonov and Lyubushkin with the assists on that one. Stars press with 3 minutes left. Chisholm has a wrister that's held. Trendon's robbed in the final minute as the Wild are looking to get on the board. Then there's a post for Chisholm on a buzzer beater. So it's 2-0 Dallas after 2. Minnesota had some chances, but we go to the third period with the score still 2-0. There's an early press by Dallas in the third. The Wild gets some pressure at 1.5 minutes. Gauntz is denied as the Wild are looking to get on the board. Shots are 6-1, in fact, for Minnesota, 4.5 minutes in. Teams trade rushes. We get a power play for the Dallas Stars. Johnston's denied and close during that. That power play is killed off. Stankoven has a wrister that's held. The Stars press at the half, but at 10:36, on a 4-on-2 rush, Brodin buries one. Zuccarello with the assist. So that gets Minnesota on the board. And then at 11:32, Foligno deflects one top corner. Spurgeon and Chisholm with the assists makes it 2-2. And from there, you knew this was going to overtime, and it does. The Wild were 4-4 in extra time coming into this. The Stars 2-0 if a game goes past 60 minutes. Minnesota controls early, and they score on their first shot. Faber buries a wraparound. Boldy and Rossi with the assists at 34 seconds. Minnesota with a huge comeback win. They go to 22-10-4 with the 3-2 overtime victory. Dallas drops to 20-13-1. So now they have a point in that third column as well. Shots on net, 14-4 Dallas in the first, 8-5 Dallas in the second, 8-7 Minnesota in the second, and they scored on the only shot they had in the overtime. Final shots are 29-18 for Dallas. Power plays, Minnesota 0 for 1, Dallas 0 for 3. The hits, 28-18 for Minnesota. Gustafsson, 27 saves on 29 shots. Ottinger, 15 saves on 18 shots. And this is one of those ones that it feels like it could come back at some point where people say, Dallas lost that point against Minnesota. They let them get 2. And so that's that could potentially be something we look at the end of the year with standings, right? With who finishes where. All right, next up, Colorado and Utah. So it's Blackwood versus Vejmelka. Blackwood with his brand new contract in hand. Avs test Vejmelka early. In fact, the shots are 4-0 Colorado, 3 minutes in. We get a power play for the Avs. McKinnon's denied and close. That power play ends up being killed off. Kesselring has a rush chance that's saved. Colton to Rantanen, there's a near miss there. Then it's posting out for Parker Kelly. Utah presses. They end up drawing a power play. Things get punchy as that call is made. Carconi has a net drive chance that's saved. That power play ends up being killed off. The Avs press with 3.5 minutes left, but it's scoreless after 1. Second period, Utah presses at 3 minutes. Gunther tries the Michigan. Tries it. Shots are 2-0 Utah at 4.5 minutes. McKinnon can't bury one in close. Utah presses at 7 minutes. There's a net feed to Kerfoot, which is a near miss there. And then Lehkonen tips one from the inner slot. McKinnon and Malinsky with the assists at 11:52. It's 1-0 for Colorado. Avs look for another. We then get a power play for Utah, which initially looked like it was going to be a Colorado power play, but no, it's Utah's. And so Colorado kills that off. Avs get a power play shortly thereafter. That's killed off as well. The Avs press after their power play is done. Utah gets pinned down a bit. The Avs are in control. And then McKinnon had a fight with Hayden because, sure, why not? And so it's 1-0 for Colorado after 2. Third period, we get a power play for Utah, and 3:42 into it, Schmaltz scores on the power play. It's a point shot, past a screen. Sergachev and Cooley with the assists. It's a 1-1 tie. Utah presses for the lead. Cooley has a rush chance. That's held. Kelly fires one wide on a fast break. Utah presses at 7 minutes. The shots are 8-2 for the Utah Hockey Club, 8.5 minutes in. Avs press, Colton's denied and close, and then at 14:46, Lehkonen with his second of the game. He buries a net feed. Nichushkin and McKinnon with the assists. The goalie pull happens with 2:20 left, and Rantanen hits the empty net from McKinnon at 18:10. So you pull the goalie again, and Lehkonen gets the hat trick goal at 19:35. That's the second Avs player who's had a short or an empty netter get them to that hat trick mark. So in the end, the final score is 4-1 for Colorado. They go to 22-15. They've won 4 in a row. Utah 16-13-6. The shots on net, 14-11 Colorado in the first, 11-7 Colorado in the second, 17-12 Utah in the third. Final shots are 37-35 for Colorado. Power plays, the Avs 0 for 2, Utah 1 for 3. The hits, 19-10 Colorado. Blackwood saves 34 out of 35. He was excellent. So was Vejmelka, saving 33 out of 35 at the other end. All right, last game of the night, Vegas and San Jose. This feels predictable, doesn't it? Like Vegas they go into San Jose and beat them. And I was Charlie Brown kicking the football tonight. I thought maybe San Jose would finally keep a lead. It's something they can't do. So it's Hill versus Georgiev. It was Hurdle's return to San Jose, of course, so that's a big moment there. Teams exchange rushes. There's a near miss for Zetterlund as the Sharks press. We get a power play for San Jose. That's killed off. Shots are 3-2 for the Sharks at 6 minutes. And at 6:56, Hannafin roofs one to make it 1-0 Vegas. Olofsson and Pietrangelo with the assists. Stone nearly adds another on the next shift. Howden's denied on a turnover. The shots are 8-2 for the Vegas Golden Knights with 9 minutes left. Vegas presses with 6 minutes left. But at 14:40, his first NHL goal finally happens. Mohamedulin scores from Zetterlund. It pinballs in. It's kind of a fluky looking goal. It bounces in off Georgiev in the end. Or not Georgiev. Georgiev in the end. Hill in the end, because he didn't bounce it in off his own goaltender. Look, I got my first goal. That's your own goalie. But it's still a goal, isn't it? No, Mohamedulin scores behind Hill. It pinballs in off Hill. Then with 41.8 seconds left, Vegas gets power play. So it's 1-1 after 1. That power play rolls over into the second. Theodore has a wrister that's blocked out. The Sharks finish the kill. The power plays that straddle the periods are very, very likely to be unsuccessful. This is just a reality in the NHL these days. Sharks finish the kill. There's a press by San Jose at 2.5 minutes. At 3:27, Stone buries a backhand in close to give Vegas the lead back. Olofsson and Whitecloud with the assists. Vegas presses for another. The shots are 5-1 for Vegas at 5.5 minutes. And then it just switches. At 5:52, Smith scores in close. Celebrini with the assist. And then the Sharks look for the lead as the momentum turns. There's a near miss for Celebrini on a net drive. Toffoli's denied as the Sharks get some pressure. And eventually at 15:57, Toffoli puts one in. It goes off Haig's skate, but it counts. Granlund and Goudreau with the assists. San Jose has a 3-2 lead at that stage. 3:27 left. The Sharks get a power play. That's killed off. With 1:03 left, Vegas gets a power play. So that rolls over into the third period, but San Jose draws a penalty, becomes 8 seconds of 4-on-4, and then they have a power play. However, just as that power play starts, McNabb wires one on a rush in what is actually a shorthanded goal. Eichel and Pietrangelo with the assists at 1:03. And then at 1:25, another shorthanded goal for Vegas is scored. It's Eichel from Stone and McNabb, and that one deflects in off Georgiev. So you get one that pinballs in, and you get another that deflects in off a goaltender. It happens. So I was right saying it deflects in off Georgiev, just I was early. So Vegas finishes the kill, and then at 5:48, Dorofeev has a backhander on a net drive that goes into the net. Howden and Schwint with the assists. Vegas presses for another. Howden has a turnover chance. That's held. The goalie pull would happen with 2:50 left. And at 19:28, Brett Howden hits the empty net. Your final score in this one, 6-3 for the Vegas Golden Knights. They go to 24-8-3 with the win. San Jose 11-21-6. It's getting ugly again for the San Jose Sharks. Shots on net, 15-6 Vegas in the first, 15-9 San Jose in the second, 12-5 Vegas in the third. Final shots are 36-26 for the Golden Knights. Power plays, Vegas 0 for 2, San Jose 0 for 3. The hits, 19-11 for San Jose. Hill saves 23 out of 26. Georgiev, 30 saves on 35 shots. So there you go. we are all done. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always. I will talk to you again soon.